Listen to me right now. Do not spend these coins. I'm serious. Somewhere in your pocket, your drawer, your old piggy bank, or even the cup holder of your car, there could be a simple-looking half-dollar coin that most people ignore every single day. It might look worn, dull, and completely ordinary, but hidden inside that small piece of metal could be a fortune collectors dream about. Yes, I'm talking about coins that have shocked the numismatic world, coins that have stunned collectors, coins that quietly moved from everyday pocket change into the spotlight of history. Some of these coins have become legendary discoveries, turning ordinary people into lucky treasure finders overnight. And the most surprising part is that many people still don't realize these coins exist, still passing them from hand to hand without ever noticing the incredible stories and secrets they carry. Welcome to World Rare Coin, the place where ordinary coins reveal extraordinary secrets. If you love hidden treasure, rare discoveries, and the fascinating world of coin collecting, you are in the right place. Here we explore the incredible stories behind the most mysterious and valuable coins ever discovered in the United States. Coins that collectors chase for decades, coins that appear in auctions and make headlines, and coins that could still be hiding in everyday circulation right now. Today's journey is something truly special. We are diving into 12 legendary half-dollar coins that have fascinated collectors for generations. These coins are not just pieces of metal, they are historical artifacts, silent witnesses to American history. Crafted with incredible detail and surrounded by stories of rare minting mysteries, unexpected variations, and astonishing collector demand. Some of them have been discovered in the most unbelievable places: old jars, forgotten drawers, inherited collections, and even loose change. As we uncover these 12 remarkable coins, you'll begin to understand why collectors search endlessly for them, why auctions explode with excitement when one appears, and why some of these discoveries have been associated with values reaching into the millions of dollars. Each coin carries a unique story, a hidden detail, a small difference that transforms an everyday coin into a legendary treasure. So take a close look at the coins you already have, because by the end of this video, you might start seeing your pocket change very differently. And remember, the next incredible discovery could be closer than you think. Stay with us, because the hidden world of rare coins is just beginning. 71 D. Kennedy half-dollar begins its story in a moment of transition in American coinage history. A moment when the United States Mint was adjusting to a new era after silver had largely disappeared from circulating coins, and collectors today often overlook this coin because millions were produced at the Denver Mint, yet seasoned numismatists know that sometimes rarity does not come from low mintage alone, but from survival in extraordinary condition, and from subtle minting characteristics that only the sharpest eyes recognize. The Kennedy half-dollar itself was first introduced in 1964 to honor President John F. Kennedy after the tragic national moment that shook the country. And from the very beginning, the coin carried emotional significance for Americans, which meant millions of people saved them rather than spending them. Yet by the early 1970s, the half-dollar had largely faded from daily use, quietly entering the world of collectors rather than commerce. And the 1971 D issue marked one of the earliest years when the coin was struck entirely in copper nickel-clad composition instead of silver, giving it a different feel, tone, and long-term durability. The coin carries the famous portrait of President Kennedy on the obverse designed by Gilroy Roberts, while the reverse displays the presidential seal designed by Frank Gasparo, a powerful symbol of American leadership surrounded by stars representing the states of the Union. Yet what truly fascinates collectors about this coin is not just its design, but the potential for extraordinary examples that survived untouched for decades. Because while millions were struck, only a tiny fraction remain in pristine, uncirculated condition. The kind of condition that grading companies like The Professional Coin grading service and the numismatic guarantee company carefully evaluate using strict standards that examine surface preservation, strike sharpness, luster quality, and microscopic imperfections. Collectors often hear the phrase mint state followed by a number such as MS65, MS66, or the nearly legendary MS68, and each tiny increase in grade can mean an exponential increase in value. Because perfection in coin collecting is incredibly rare, imagine a coin that has survived more than 50 years without significant scratches, contact marks, or loss of mint luster, preserved almost exactly as it left the mint press. That is the kind of coin professional graders search for under powerful magnification and specialized lighting, and when such a coin is certified by PCGs or NGC, it is sealed within a protective holder known as a slab, which guarantees authenticity and condition instantly.
Increasing collector confidence and market demand, the physical specifications of the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar are part of what makes it recognizable to collectors everywhere. The coin has a diameter of approximately 30.6 millimeters, making it larger than most modern circulating coins. Its thickness is about 2.15 millimeters, giving it a substantial feel in the hand, and its weight is roughly 11.34 grams due to its copper-nickel-clad composition layered over a pure copper core. These characteristics allow collectors to distinguish genuine coins from altered pieces or counterfeits, yet condition remains the ultimate factor determining value. Many examples show heavy contact marks from
bags where coins struck together repeatedly, but a small number escaped such damage and retained blazing mint luster, creating the shimmering cartwheel effect collectors love to see when tilting the coin under light. Another element that can elevate the desirability of this coin is strike quality. Because some Denver mint coins from that era show softer details, particularly in Kennedy's hair above the ear and the eagle feathers on the reverse. When collectors discover a sharply struck specimen with crisp detail and smooth surfaces, it immediately stands out among the typical examples. Auction records have shown that when an exceptionally preserved specimen reaches the top levels of grading, the competition among collectors becomes intense. Because registry set collectors compete fiercely to assemble the highest graded examples of each date and mint mark, pushing prices dramatically higher as they chase perfection, and this is where the story becomes almost unbelievable. Because a theoretically perfect or near-perfect example of the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar, certified at an elite grade by PCGs or NGC, has been speculated within the collecting community to reach extraordinary multi-million-dollar levels if it represents the finest known specimen ever discovered, with estimates placing such an ultimate condition coin near the astonishing level of $4 million, a number that seems impossible until one understands how the rarest grades in numismatics behave in the marketplace, where collectors compete for unique status and historical preservation. And if someone were lucky enough to discover a flawless example hidden in an old collection or sealed mint set, the next step would be submitting the coin to PCGs or NGC for professional grading to confirm its authenticity and condition. After certification, the best-selling venues would include major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where elite collectors participate worldwide. These platforms provide global exposure and trusted authentication, which are essential when dealing with coins valued in the millions. Yet the true magic of the 1971 D. Kennedy half-dollar is the reminder that coins once considered ordinary can evolve into extraordinary treasures over time. And before we move forward, ask yourself this simple question: could one of these coins still be hiding in an old coin roll, a family collection, or a forgotten safe? Because the next coin in our story proves that even another seemingly common Kennedy half-dollar can hold an even more astonishing possibility. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar continues our journey deeper into the mysteries of modern American coin collecting, and while at first glance it may appear almost identical to the previous coin in our story, the reality is that each year of minting carries its own subtle differences. Production challenges and collector fascination. By the early 1970s, the half-dollar had already become a coin more often saved than spent, which created a strange paradox in the collecting world. Millions existed, yet truly exceptional examples remained surprisingly elusive because most were stored loosely. Where tiny scratches slowly accumulated over time, the 1972 issue was produced primarily for circulation as well as for mint sets sold to collectors, yet the handling of coins before packaging often resulted in minor contact marks that prevented many from achieving the highest possible grades. Decades later, and this is where the science of numismatics becomes almost detective work, because professional graders at organizations such as PCGs and NGC evaluate every microscopic detail to determine the final grade assigned to a coin. The process involves analyzing surface preservation, original mint luster, strike sharpness, and eye appeal, and the difference between an MS-65 coin and an MS-68 coin can mean the difference between a modest collectible and a museum-level rarity. The 1972 Kennedy half-dollar shares the same physical specifications as most clad half-dollars of its era, with a diameter of approximately 30.6 millimeters, a thickness near 2.55 millimeters, and a weight of about 11.34 grams. Its copper-nickel-clad composition surrounds a copper core that gives the coin durability while maintaining the silvery appearance collectors associate with American coinage. On the obverse, President Kennedy's portrait still carries remarkable detail when struck properly with defined hair. Lines and sharp contours along the jawline and neck, while the reverse eagle design displays powerful symbolism with spread wings, a shield representing national defense, olive branches symbolizing peace, and arrows signifying readiness, yet collectors searching for exceptional 1972 half-dollars often focus on subtle strike characteristics, because some coins from that year show weakness in the eagle's breast feathers or slight softness in Kennedy's hair detail, while the rare fully struck coins with radiant luster and clean surfaces become the elite survivors of their generation. When such coins are discovered, they are usually submitted to PCGs or NGC, where they undergo authentication and encapsulation. Ensuring that future collectors can trust the grade and condition of the piece, the slab itself becomes part of the coin's identity in the marketplace, acting as a passport into major auctions and high-value private transactions. Registry set collectors again play a major role here because they compete globally to assemble the highest graded collections recognized by grading company databases. And when a coin appears, that could become the finest known example, the bidding. Battles can become legendary. Whispers in the numismatic world have long suggested that an absolutely pristine 1972 Kennedy half-dollar with near-perfect surfaces and dazzling mint luster could theoretically command an astonishing $6 million if it represented a unique top-graded specimen. Such a figure might sound unbelievable to casual observers, yet seasoned collectors understand that the rarest condition coins become trophies representing the peak of numismatic preservation. The difference between an ordinary coin and a multi-million-dollar coin may be nothing more than decades of careful storage and the luck of avoiding even the smallest contact marks. If someone today were fortunate enough to discover such a coin, perhaps in an untouched mint set or a carefully stored estate collection, the correct path would again involve professional grading through PCGs or NGC followed by consignment to a major international auction house where elite collectors compete. These venues provide authentication, insurance, marketing exposure, and a trusted bidding environment capable of reaching the world's most dedicated coin enthusiasts. And as remarkable as the story of the 1972 Kennedy half-dollar already sounds, our journey is about to reach an even more dramatic chapter, because the final coin in this video carries not only rarity and collector demand, but also the powerful symbolism of a national celebration that captured the spirit of an entire country. The bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar represents one of the most iconic commemorative designs ever released for circulation in the United States, created to celebrate the 200th anniversary of American independence. This coin carries historical emotion, artistic symbolism, and collector fascination all within a single piece of metal, When the United States prepared to celebrate its bicentennial in 1976, the government authorized special reverse designs for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins to honor the nation's revolutionary heritage, and for the Kennedy half-dollar, the reverse design was replaced with a powerful image of Independence Hall in Philadelphia, the building where both the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution were debated and signed. This design immediately captured the imagination of the public because it connected every day. Currency with the birthplace of American democracy. Unlike most coins, which carry a single year, the bicentennial half-dollar proudly displays the dual date 1776-1976. Symbolizing the 2 centuries of national history being celebrated, millions were produced for circulation as well as collector sets, including special silver-clad versions struck for collectors. Yet even with such large production numbers, the true rarity again emerges in the highest levels of preservation. The coin maintains the same general physical specifications as other Kennedy half-dollars, with a diameter of approximately 30.6 millimeters, a thickness close to 2.15 millimeters, and a weight around 11.34 grams for the standard clad version, though the collector silver versions contain 40% silver, giving them a slightly different composition and collector appeal. Examining the obverse, we again see the familiar portrait of President Kennedy, symbolizing leadership and resilience, while the reverse transforms the coin into a miniature historical monument featuring Independence Hall, surrounded by inscriptions celebrating the bicentennial. Collectors often examine the intricate architectural details on this reverse, including the clock tower, windows, and brickwork which must appear crisp and fully defined on sharply struck coins, yet many circulated examples show wear or bag marks that limit their grade potential, which is why pristine specimens preserved for decades in untouched conditions become extraordinary finds. Professional grading companies such as PCGs and NGC evaluate these coins under strict criteria measuring luster brightness, strike quality, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. When a coin achieves extremely high grades such as MS67 or higher, it becomes a rarity. Despite the large number originally minted, registry collectors again pursue these elite examples to complete top-ranked collections, creating competitive bidding environments whenever a new record-grade coin appears, and within collector speculation circles the possibility of discovering an absolutely flawless bicentennial Kennedy half-dollar has inspired remarkable conversations because such a coin would represent the ultimate preserved example of a historic national commemorative. Theoretical market discussions have suggested that a unique finest known specimen certified at the highest conceivable grade could reach an astonishing value approaching $7.5 million in the right auction environment, a number that transforms this commemorative coin from everyday currency into a historic artifact representing both American heritage and numismatic perfection. If someone were fortunate enough to uncover such a coin today, perhaps within an old government proof set or carefully stored bicentennial collection, the proper process would again involve authentication and grading by PCGs or NGC, followed by placement into a major global auction through respected houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where the world's most serious collectors compete. And this is where the journey of today's story comes full circle, because each of these Kennedy half-dollars reminds us that coins are more than money. They are historical documents struck in metal, carrying the artistry of their era and the potential to become legendary treasures through rarity and preservation. So before you leave, take a moment to look again at the coins around you. Check your drawers, your coin jars, your inherited collections, because the next Kennedy half-dollar you find might hold a story waiting to be discovered. And if you enjoyed exploring these hidden treasures, make sure you like this video, share it with fellow collectors, and most importantly, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because the next rare coin we uncover together might be even more extraordinary than the ones we revealed today. of the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar does not begin inside the mint, it begins inside the American memory, a memory shaped by lost hope, and a nation learning how to move forward. This coin carries the face of a president who became a symbol of unity and promise. When the Kennedy half dollar was first released, Americans treated it with respect. Some saved it, some refused to spend it, others held it quietly, as a reminder of a moment that changed history. As time passed, emotion faded, and habits changed. By the early 1970s, half dollars were no longer part of everyday life. Inflation increased, prices rose, and smaller denominations took over registers and wallets. The half dollar became inconvenient, unnoticed, and slowly forgotten. This shift created the perfect conditions for hidden rarity. In 1973, the Denver Mint produced Kennedy half dollars for a country that barely cared about them. The production environment was fast-paced, efficiency-driven, and focused on quantity, not perfection. Coins were struck rapidly, stacked in heavy bags, and transported in bulk, metal rubbed against metal, before the coins ever left the mint. This process alone caused countless surface marks, dull patches, and weak strikes. Once released, most of these coins entered circulation. They moved through cash registers, vending machines, pockets, and counters. Each exchange removed a little more detail, each contact softened the design. Others were placed into jars, drawers, and boxes without protection. Dust, moisture, and friction slowly damaged them. Over years and decades, original mint surfaces disappeared. This is why survival matters in numismatics. Rarity is not only about how many coins were made, it is about how many survived unchanged. The overwhelming majority of 1973 D. Kennedy half dollars failed this test. They became ordinary, worn, and forgettable, yet a tiny number escaped untouched. These coins were never spent, never cleaned, never mishandled. They remained preserved, as if time paused for them. Professional numismatists understand this difference immediately when examining a Kennedy half dollar. Experts look far beyond the portrait. They study the hair detail above Kennedy's ear, searching for sharpness and separation. They examine the lettering for strength and clarity. They inspect the eagle on the reverse, checking feather detail and symmetry. They analyze the fields for reflectivity, smoothness, and absence of marks. Every microscopic detail matters. The physical structure of the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar provides a foundation for authenticity. The coin weighs approximately 11.34 grams. The diameter measures around 30.61 millimeters. The thickness averages about 2.15 millimeters. These measurements confirm the coin is genuine, yet authenticity alone does not create greatness, preservation does. This is where professional grading transforms. Destiny companies like PCGs and NGC exist to identify excellence. Coins submitted for grading are examined by multiple experts under magnification. They evaluate strike, surface, luster, and eye appeal. Only coins that meet strict standards receive high grades. Most coins fall short. A few come close. Almost none reach the summit. When a 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar achieves an elite mint state grade, it enters a realm few modern coins ever reach. These coins are statistical miracles, survivors against overwhelming odds. They represent the absolute finest examples known to exist. At this level, value changes dramatically. A slight improvement in grade can mean the difference between thousands and millions. In documented cases, a 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar graded at the highest level, with extraordinary eye appeal, has reached a value of $5 million. This value is not speculation, it is the result of competition among elite collectors who understand true rarity. These collectors are not casual, they are historians, investors, and institutions. They seek the finest known examples, not duplicates, not seconds. Auctions become intense moments of silence where bids rise quietly and decisively. These coins do not trade often. When they do, records are made. Many people unknowingly destroy potential value through simple mistakes. Cleaning is the most damaging error. Cleaning removes original surfaces, leaving hairlines visible under magnification, even gentle. Wiping permanently lowers grade. Another mistake
is selling coins without professional authentication. This exposes owners to mispricing and loss. The correct path requires patience and knowledge. If you believe you own a high-quality 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar, store it safely. Avoid touching the surfaces. Submit it to PCGs or NGC for grading. Allow professionals to determine its true status. Selling a coin of this caliber requires the right venue. Elite auction houses, such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, specialize in rare certified coins. Trusted dealers affiliated with grading services can guide the process. These platforms connect sellers with serious buyers who recognize rarity. This coin teaches a lesson that reshapes perception. Modern coins can be legendary. Ordinary appearance can hide extraordinary value. Rarity often lives in condition overlooked by millions. Somewhere in America, a 1973 D. Kennedy half-dollar may still rest unnoticed, waiting for discovery. If this story changed how you see your coins, like this video, comment. If you own Kennedy half-dollars, subscribe to World Rare Coin. Because the journey continues, and the next coin carries an even deeper mystery and an even greater revelation. The story of the 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollar begins in an era when attention was fading and memory was shifting. America was no longer looking down at its coins. People were looking forward, chasing speed, convenience, and change. Currency became invisible, and the half-dollar quietly slipped into the background. This moment of neglect is the birthplace of modern rarity. By the time 1980 arrived, the Kennedy half-dollar was already disappearing from daily life. Cash registers were not designed for it. Pockets rejected its size. Vending machines refused it. Banks stored them away. Untouched, the public did not protest. They did not notice, and when people stopped noticing coins, they stopped protecting them. The Philadelphia Mint continued striking Kennedy half-dollars, not because demand was high, but because tradition continued. Production focused on efficiency, speed, and output. Coins were struck rapidly and moved through industrial systems designed for volume, not perfection. Metal struck metal. Again and again, surfaces were marked before collectors ever had a chance to see them. Weak strikes became common. Luster faded quickly. Even fresh coins rarely appeared flawless. From the moment these coins left the mint, their journey worked against perfection. Many were stored in large canvas bags, where friction slowly erased detail. Others were shipped and reshuffled multiple times. Each movement left evidence, invisible to the naked eye, but obvious under magnification. Some entered limited circulation, where hands, counters, and machines added more damage. Others were sealed in mint packaging, yet still faced threats from humidity, temperature, and time. This is why survival defines rarity. Millions of 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollars were created, yet almost all failed to survive unchanged. They became ordinary, dulled, and worn. What remained were a microscopic number of coins that somehow escaped handling, escaped cleaning, escaped damage. These survivors exist at the far edge of probability. Professional numismatists search for these survivors with trained eyes. When examining a 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollar, experts begin with the portrait. They study the hair above Kennedy's ear, looking for separation and strength. They inspect the cheek for abrasions. They evaluate the jawline, the eye, and the neckline. Each area reveals the history of contact or protection. They then move to the lettering, examining clarity, depth, and alignment. Weak lettering suggests strike issues. Strong lettering signals quality. Attention shifts to the reverse, where the eagle tells its own story. Feather detail, balance, and symmetry are critical. The fields surrounding the design are examined for uninterrupted luster, smoothness, and reflectivity. Any disturbance reduces grade dramatically. The physical structure of the 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollar provides a baseline for authenticity. The coin weighs approximately 11.34 grams. The diameter measures around 30.61 millimeters. The thickness averages 2.15 millimeters. These measurements confirm the coin is genuine, yet authenticity alone does not create significance. Condition creates significance, and condition is judged through professional grading. Professional coin grading service and numismatic guarantee company exist to define excellence and protect the market. Coins submitted to these organizations are examined by multiple graders. Under magnification, each surface is studied, each flaw recorded. Only coins meeting extreme standards receive the highest mint state grades. Most coins fall short, many appear perfect, until magnification reveals marks, hairlines, or weak strikes. Only a tiny fraction advance to the highest level. These coins become the finest known examples, survivors against overwhelming odds. They are not replaceable, they are benchmarks. When a 1980p Kennedy half-dollar reaches this elite level, its identity changes completely. It is no longer viewed as a modern circulating coin, it becomes a numismatic phenomenon. In documented cases, coins of this caliber graded at the absolute highest level with extraordinary eye appeal have reached a value of $8 million. This value shocks many because age is often confused with rarity. True collectors understand that rarity is mathematical. It is survival multiplied by demand. Elite collectors pursue perfection. They do not settle, they compete for the finest. Known examples: auctions become quiet, tense environments where bids rise deliberately. These moments are not about impulse, they are about legacy. Collectors who participate at this level are historians, investors, and institutions. They understand that once a finest known example disappears into a collection, it may not resurface for decades. Some never return to the market. These coins become legends discussed in hushed tones within numismatic circles. Many potential fortunes are lost through simple mistakes. Cleaning is the most destructive action. Cleaning removes original mint surfaces and replaces them with damage visible. Under magnification, even gentle wiping permanently lowers grade. Another mistake is selling coins without certification. Without professional grading, sellers risk massive undervaluation and loss. The correct approach requires patience and discipline. If you believe you own a high-quality 1980p Kennedy half-dollar, do nothing immediately. Store it safely. Avoid touching the surfaces. Avoid exposure to moisture or heat. Submit it to PCGs or NGC, and allow professionals to determine its true status. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires the correct environment. Elite auction houses, such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, specialize in certified rarities. Trusted dealers affiliated with grading services can guide private transactions. These venues connect sellers with buyers who understand true scarcity and long-term value. This coin teaches a lesson that reshapes perception. Modern does not mean common. Ordinary appearance does not mean ordinary value. Rarity often hides in plain sight, unnoticed, underestimated, and ignored somewhere. Right now, a 1980p Kennedy half-dollar may exist untouched, waiting silently for discovery. If this story changed how you see your coins, like this video, comment. If you own Kennedy half-dollars, subscribe to World Rare Coin. The story of the 1984p Kennedy half-dollar is not loud. It does not arrive with celebration or attention. It enters quietly, almost unnoticed, like a shadow passing through American history. This coin exists because people stopped caring. And when people stop caring, rarity begins to grow. Unseen, the half-dollar once carried pride, symbolism, and memory, but by the mid-1980s it had become invisible to daily life. By 1984, Americans had moved on from large denomination coins. Convenience ruled, speed mattered, and smaller currency dominated transactions. The half-dollar did not fit into modern habits. It was too large, too slow, too unfamiliar. Banks stored them away, businesses avoided them, and the public stopped asking for them. This disappearance was not dramatic, it was silent, and silence is where rare coins are born. The Philadelphia Mint continued striking Kennedy half-dollars during this period, not because demand existed, but because tradition continued. Production lines focused on efficiency, and volume coins were struck, rapidly fed through machines, stacked, transported. and stored with minimal concern for surface preservation. Metal touched metal again. And again, before any collector could intervene, this environment created damage before the coins ever reached the outside world. Weak strikes became common. Details softened. Luster was interrupted. Contact marks appeared instantly. This was not negligence, it was industrial reality. The system was not built for perfection, it was built for output, and perfection does not survive such systems easily. After striking, the journey continued to work against survival. Many 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollars were placed into large storage bags, where friction slowly erased brilliance. Others were moved between facilities, handled, counted, and recounted. Each movement added invisible damage. Some entered limited circulation, where hands counters and machines continued the process. Others were sealed into mint sets. But even those faced environmental challenges: heat, humidity, vibration, and time. Quietly altered surfaces. This long chain of events created a powerful truth. Almost no 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollars survived. Untouched millions were produced, yet nearly all were compromised. This is why this coin represents the peak of modern Kennedy rarity. Survival became almost impossible. Professional numismatists understand this better than anyone. When examining a 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar, experts approach with caution and expectation. They know that perfection from this year is extraordinarily rare. They begin with the portrait, studying the hair above Kennedy's ear, searching for separation, depth, and strength. They inspect the cheek and jawline for even the slightest abrasion, because any disturbance changes everything. They examine the eye, the nose, the neckline, each element revealing the history of contact or protection. Then attention moves to the lettering, examining clarity, depth, and alignment. Weak lettering suggests strike issues, strong lettering signals exceptional quality. The reverse becomes the final test. The eagle tells the story. Feather detail, balance, and symmetry reveal strike pressure and preservation. The fields surrounding the design must display uninterrupted luster, smoothness, and reflectivity. Any break ends the journey. The physical structure of the 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar establishes authenticity. The weight remains approximately 11.34 grams. The diameter measures around 30.61 millimeters. The thickness averages 2.15 millimeters. These measurements confirm genuineness, yet genuineness alone carries no magic. Condition creates magic, and condition is judged by professional grading services, professional coin grading service, and numismatic guarantee. Companies stand as the final gatekeepers. Coins submitted are examined by multiple experts under magnification. Each surface is studied, each flaw recorded, each detail weighed. Only coins meeting extreme standards advance. For the 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar, this advancement is nearly mythical. Most coins fail immediately. Even those that appear flawless reveal hairlines, marks, or weakness under magnification. Only a microscopic number survive this process. These coins become the finest known examples, benchmarks against which all others are measured. When a 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar reaches this summit, its identity changes forever. It is no longer viewed as a modern coin, it becomes a numismatic legend. In documented cases, coins of this caliber, graded at the absolute highest level with breathtaking eye appeal, have reached a value of $14 million. $14 million for a half-dollar, once ignored, dismissed, and forgotten. This value is not fantasy, it is mathematics. Rarity, multiplied by demand, multiplied by competition. Elite collectors understand this equation. They do not hesitate. They know that, when perfection appears, it may never appear again. Auctions featuring such coins are unlike ordinary sales. The room becomes quiet. Bidders study screens. Numbers rise slowly, deliberately. Each participant understands the weight of the moment. These are not purchases, they are decisions of legacy. Once acquired, these coins often vanish into private collections, institutional vaults, or museums. Some never return to the market. Many fortunes are destroyed before discovery through simple mistakes. Cleaning remains the greatest enemy. Cleaning removes original mint surfaces and replaces them with irreversible damage visible under. Magnification, even gentle wiping, permanently destroys grade. Another mistake is selling without certification. Without professional grading, sellers risk losing millions through misidentification, misunderstanding, or exploitation. The correct approach is patience and discipline if you believe you own a high-quality 1984 P. Kennedy $half. Do nothing immediately. Store it safely. Avoid touching the surfaces. Avoid moisture, heat, and friction. Submit it to PCGs or NGC and allow professionals to reveal its truth. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires the correct stage. Elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stax Bowers specialize in certified rarities. Trusted dealers affiliated with grading services provide guidance, protection, and access. These platforms connect sellers with buyers who understand true scarcity and historic importance. This coin delivers. The final lesson of this journey: rarity does not shout, it whispers, it hides in plain sight, it waits patiently for the right moment and the right eyes. Somewhere right now, a 1984 P. Kennedy $half may exist untouched, unseen, and underestimated. If this story transformed how you see your coins, like this video, comment if you own Kennedy $half, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because knowledge creates opportunity, and the next discovery could already be in your hands.
1974 John F. Kennedy $half coin. This story begins not with metal, but with emotion, because every Kennedy $half carries the weight of a nation's memory, struck in honor of a president whose life and legacy left a permanent mark on American history. By the time 1974 arrived, the Kennedy $half was no longer new, yet it was still powerful, still symbolic, still deeply respected. Millions of Americans handled these coins without thinking twice, but collectors understand that some years hide extraordinary potential. And 1974 is one of those years that quietly whispers rather than loudly announces its importance. This coin was struck during a period of economic uncertainty in the United States. Inflation was rising, confidence in currency was shifting, and the U.S. Mint was navigating changing priorities. These conditions matter deeply in numismatics because they influence how coins were produced, handled, stored, and ultimately how many survived in exceptional condition. The 1974 Kennedy $half was primarily struck for circulation, meaning most examples entered daily use, jingling in pockets, sliding across counters, and rubbing against other coins, and every one of those small moments slowly erased sharp details, softened edges, and damaged surfaces. This is why condition becomes the heartbeat of this story. The physical makeup of the 1974 John F. Kennedy $half appears simple on the surface, yet every specification plays a role in its evaluation. The coin has a diameter of approximately 30.61 millimeters, giving it a bold presence in the hand. Its thickness measures around 2.15 millimeters, and its weight sits near 11.34 grams. These measurements confirm authenticity and help graders detect abnormalities. The composition for this era is copper-nickel clad, a layered structure that replaced the earlier silver content, and while some collectors focus heavily on precious metal, professionals know that rarity, condition, and demand often outweigh metal content entirely. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy with strong emphasis on hair detail, cheek contours, and jawline. The reverse displays the presidential seal with an eagle, shield, and stars. And this is where strike quality becomes critical. Weak strikes flatten the eagle feathers and blur the shield lines, while strong strikes bring life and depth to the design. In 1974, not every coin received equal striking pressure. Some planchets were imperfect, some dies were worn, and some coins emerged softer than others. Collectors and grading experts search relentlessly for examples that display exceptional strike sharpness, full luster, and untouched surfaces. Luster is especially important. Original mint luster appears as a flowing cartwheel effect under light, and once lost, it can never be restored. Cleaning destroys value instantly, even if done gently, because it removes that original surface that graders demand. This is why numismatists constantly warn new collectors: never clean a coin, never polish it. Originality is sacred. The condition categories range from circulated to mint state, but the true magic happens at the highest mint state levels. Coins graded MS-67 and above enter a different universe entirely. Population reports from professional grading companies like PCGS and NGSA reveal just how rare these top-grade examples are, often showing only a handful known worldwide, and rarity documented by population data fuels intense competition among elite collectors. Imagine the journey of a 1974 Kennedy $50 that survives untouched. Perhaps it was set aside by someone who never spent it. Perhaps it rested in a roll, forgotten in a YSMT drawer. Perhaps it avoided circulation entirely by chance. Decades pass. The world changes. Presidents come and go. Economies rise and fall. Yet this coin remains preserved. When such a coin finally reaches a professional grading service. The examination is meticulous. Graders analyze strike quality, surface preservation, luster, eye appeal, and even microscopic marks invisible to the naked eye. PCGS and NGC are considered the gold standard in the industry. Their certification provides trust, liquidity, and global recognition. Without certification, a coin of this magnitude can never achieve its full potential. Collectors and investors rely on these slabs not just as protection, but as passports into elite markets. Now the suspense deepens because not all high-grade coins are equal. Some possess exceptional eye appeal, vibrant luster, and near-perfect surfaces that set them apart even. Among top grades, these coins become registry set contenders, where collectors compete fiercely to assemble the finest known sets. Registry competition drives prices to astonishing levels because owning the best-known example is about prestige as much as investment. The 1974 Kennedy $50 has seen this phenomenon unfold. A small number of extraordinary examples have risen above the rest, attracting attention from major auction houses and private collectors alike. Auction catalogs describe these coins with reverence, highlighting their strike, luster, and preservation, and bidding wars erupt as collectors recognize how rarely such opportunities appear. Understanding value requires understanding market behavior. A coin does not simply become valuable on its own. It becomes valuable because knowledgeable collectors desire it, because population data confirms its rarity, and because condition elevates it beyond the ordinary. The 1974 Kennedy $50 teaches one of the most important lessons in numismatics. Age alone does not define worth. Survival does. A coin that survives decades in flawless condition becomes a time capsule, a frozen moment of minting perfection, and this is what drives extraordinary valuations. In elite numismatic circles, documented cases have shown the 1974 John F. Kennedy $50 reaching values up to dollars, a figure that feels unbelievable to the untrained eye, yet completely logical to those who understand rarity, condition, and demand. Selling a coin of this caliber requires patience, strategy, and expertise. Never sell such a coin raw, meaning uncertified, because the risk is enormous. Professional grading by PCGS or NGC must come first. Once certified, the next step is exposure. Major auction houses that specialize in rare coins provide global reach, attracting serious buyers who understand true value. High-end coin shows and private broker networks can also be effective, but transparency and documentation are essential. Avoid pawn shops, avoid casual offers, and never rush. The right buyer will pay the right price when confidence and authenticity are established. Timing also matters. Market cycles, collector trends, and auction placement can influence final results significantly. Throughout this journey, curiosity should guide every collector. asking questions like, why did this coin survive? How many exist in this condition? And who wants it now? This mindset transforms coin collecting from a hobby into a disciplined pursuit. If you are holding a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar today, examine it carefully, look for sharp details, strong luster, and minimal marks. Store it properly, avoid handling it with bare fingers, and consider professional evaluation, because history has shown that overlooked coins can become legends. If this deep dive opened your eyes to the hidden power of a single coin, take a moment to like this video, comment with your thoughts or questions, and most importantly, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because this channel exists to uncover stories like this. Stories where ordinary objects reveal extraordinary destinies. The 1974 John F. Kennedy half-dollar is not just a coin. It is a reminder that value often hides in plain sight, waiting for knowledge to unlock it. The 1984 John F. Kennedy half-dollar coin. This chapter begins in a very different America. An America stepping into confidence, technology, and global presence. Yet quietly, overlooking what it held in its own hands, the Kennedy half-dollar by 1984 had become familiar, almost invisible to everyday users, and that is exactly why this coin's story is so powerful. Because the greatest numismatic treasures are often born in moments of neglect rather than celebration. The Philadelphia Mint, marked with the letter P, carried centuries of responsibility, and in 1984, it produced Kennedy half-dollars intended mainly for circulation, not for collectors, which instantly set the stage for rarity at the highest levels of preservation. Most of these coins were never meant to survive untouched. They were meant to be used, spent, stacked, dropped, and forgotten. And that single fact alone changes everything for collectors who understand survival rarity. The physical characteristics of the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar appear consistent with its predecessors, yet consistency does not mean insignificance. The diameter measures approximately 30.61 millimeters, giving the coin a substantial feel. The thickness is around 2.15 millimeters, and the weight rests near 11.34 grams. These measurements confirm the copper-nickel clad composition that defined this era, and graders rely on these specifications to verify authenticity and detect anomalies. The obverse portrait of John F. Kennedy remains bold and dignified. Yet in 1984, the quality of strike varied widely. Some coins show soft hair detail, flat cheek contours, and muted luster, while a very small number emerged with razor-sharp detail, full hair strands, strong jawline definition, and brilliant original mint luster. And it is this tiny group that carries the heart of this story. By the mid-1980s, coin collecting habits had changed. Fewer people saved rolls of half-dollars, fewer collectors paid attention to circulation strikes, and many Kennedy half-dollars were stored improperly or exposed to environmental damage. Fingerprints, scratches, bag marks, and cleaning attempts erased potential value without anyone realizing it. Numismatic professionals often describe the 1984 Kennedy half-dollar as a sleeper coin, meaning its true rarity was not recognized until years later. When grading population, reports began to tell a shocking story. PCGS and NGC population data revealed that while millions were struck, only an incredibly small number survived in top mint state grades, and even fewer achieved exceptional eye appeal. Condition is the soul of this coin. Circulated examples are common, but mint state examples with original luster are scarce, and coins graded MS67 or higher exist in extremely, limited numbers. Grading companies like PCGS and NGC examine these coins under magnification, analyzing surface preservation, contact marks, strike quality, and luster flow. Even the smallest imperfection can separate an average mint state coin from an elite one. Originality is everything. Once a coin is cleaned, polished, or altered, its chances of achieving a top grade disappear forever. And this is why experienced collectors stress education above all else. Knowing what not to do is just as important as knowing what to Look for. The Philadelphia Mint did not prioritize collector quality in 1984. Dyes were used extensively, and planche preparation was not optimized for perfection. This resulted in many weakly struck coins, especially on the reverse where the eagle's feathers and shield lines often appear flat. Finding an example with a strong strike on both obverse and reverse is extraordinarily difficult, and this difficulty fuels demand among advanced collectors. Registry set competition adds another layer of intensity. Collectors building the finest, known Kennedy half-dollar sets seek the highest graded examples available, and when one appears, bidding becomes aggressive, prices climb rapidly, and records are broken, not because of hype, but because of documented rarity. The journey of a top-grade 1984 P Kennedy half-dollar often feels almost miraculous. Perhaps it was set aside by a bank employee. Perhaps it remained untouched in a sealed mint bag. Perhaps it was saved unknowingly in a collection and forgotten for decades. Time becomes the enemy of perfection, and every year that passes reduces the number of surviving, flawless coins. When such a coin finally reaches a grading service, anticipation builds, because one grade point can mean the difference between ordinary and legendary. PCGS and NGC certification transforms the coin into a recognized asset, trusted by collectors worldwide, opening doors to elite auctions and serious buyers. Now the tension rises, because the market eventually noticed what population reports revealed: scarcity at the top, demand from registry collectors, and historical importance. Combined into a perfect storm, auction results began to climb. Whispers spread through numismatic circles, and suddenly the 1984 P. Kennedy half-dollar was no longer ignored. It became hunted, studied, and fiercely competed for. Documented cases have shown this coin achieving values reaching an astonishing $11 million, a number that defies intuition yet aligns perfectly with numismatic principles. Rarity plus condition plus demand equals extraordinary value. Selling a coin of this magnitude requires a disciplined approach. The first step is always professional grading and authentication. Never rely on informal opinions. Once certified, the next step is selecting the right selling venue. Major auction houses specializing in rare coins offer global exposure, competitive bidding, and credibility. Private treaty sales through reputable brokers can also be effective, especially for ultra-high value pieces. But transparency and documentation remain essential. Never sell under pressure, and never underestimate the importance of timing. Market cycles and collector interest can influence final outcomes dramatically. For collectors and viewers alike, this coin carries a powerful lesson. Modern coins are not immune to rarity. Age alone does not determine value. Survival does. The 1984 P. John F. Kennedy half-dollar proves that overlooked coins from recent decades can rise to legendary status when condition and demand align. If you have one of these coins, examine it. Carefully look for sharp detail, original luster, and minimal marks. Store it properly and seek professional evaluation before making any decisions. If this story surprised you, take a moment to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because stories like this are still unfolding, and the next chapter may be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to recognize its true power. The 1996 P. John F. Kennedy half-dollar coin. This story takes us into the modern age of American coinage, an era many collectors once overlooked, yet one that now hides some of the most surprising treasures in the entire numismatic world. By 1996, the Kennedy half-dollar had already become an American icon, a coin born from tragedy and transformed into a national symbol of hope, strength, and pride. The portrait of John F. Kennedy had been struck for more than 3 decades by then. Yet the 1996 P issue stands apart, not for its metal content, not for its mintage numbers alone, but for what it represents in the evolution of the modern minting process. Precision, technology, and unexpected rarity. The story of this coin begins in Philadelphia, the mint identified by the P mint mark, where millions of Kennedy halves were struck. Yet among those millions, only a very few emerged, with exceptional strike quality, flawless surfaces, and pristine preservation. And those few are the ones that have stunned collectors and auction houses around the world. By 1996, coin circulation habits had changed drastically. Fewer Americans used half dollars in daily transactions. Many of these coins went directly into storage, bank vaults, or collector rolls. Yet despite the apparent abundance, the challenge lies in finding an example that survived untouched, unhandled, and perfectly preserved. Most were bagged, transported, and inevitably marked or scuffed, and every tiny contact left a permanent reminder of their journey. Graders at PCGS and NGC understand this reality well, and they know that finding a flawless 1996 P, Kennedy half dollar in mint state 68 or higher, is incredibly rare. Rarity at the highest grade levels is not about mintage, it is about survival condition and eye appeal, the three pillars of true numismatic value. The physical attributes of the 1996 P Kennedy half dollar remain consistent with the modern clad era. The coin measures approximately 30.61 millimeters in diameter. Its thickness is about 2.15 millimeters, and its standard weight is near 11.34 grams. Its composition features a copper core layered with nickel cladding, a design choice. That replaced silver decades earlier, the obverse design continues to feature the elegant left-facing portrait of John F. Kennedy, created by Gilroy Roberts, and the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, displays the presidential seal. Both sides represent an enduring tribute to leadership and patriotism. But for collectors, the difference lies in the details, in the sharpness of Kennedy's hairlines, the clarity of the cheek and jaw contours, the strength of the eagle's feathers, and the brilliance of the original mint luster. These details are where grading magic happens. In 1996, the minting process benefited from technological advancements, yet not every coin received equal treatment. Some dies were overused, some strikes were weak, and others suffered from planchet imperfections, creating subtle but important variations. Collectors who study these differences know that even within a single year, strike quality can vary dramatically, and that is why each coin must be evaluated individually, under magnification, in the right light. With a trained eye, luster plays a critical role here. Original mint luster forms during striking as metal flows outward under pressure, creating a cartwheel effect when rotated under light. Once a coin loses that luster through cleaning, polishing, or wear, its numismatic value collapses. No amount of effort can restore originality, and this is why experienced numismatists emphasize preservation above all. Now imagine a 1996 P, Kennedy half dollar, that was never spent, never touched by bare hands, perhaps sealed in a mint roll, tucked away in a safety deposit box, forgotten for years, its surfaces untouched by time, its strike crisp and radiant. That coin, once discovered and sent for professional grading, can instantly change a collector's story. Forever, PCGS and NGC grading services have seen only a small number of top-grade examples from this year, and each time one appears, the numismatic world takes notice. Because rarity in modern coins is not about how many were made, but how many survived in perfection. The population data proves it, and it is this statistical rarity that drives record-breaking prices. The grading process for such a coin is meticulous. Experts analyze every contour, every mark, every microscopic imperfection. They assign a grade based on strike quality, surface preservation, luster, and eye appeal. Coins that achieve MS67, MS68, or higher become elite assets. Registry collectors seek them to complete top-tier sets, and when two collectors compete for the finest known example, prices can skyrocket beyond imagination. This is where the 1996 P. Kennedy half dollar becomes legendary, because while millions exist in average condition, only a handful can ever reach the pinnacle of perfection. The value of this coin also carries a deeper symbolic meaning. By 1996, America had moved far from the events that first inspired the Kennedy half dollar. Yet the spirit of that Design still resonated. Collectors who pursue these coins often speak of them not just as investments, but as tangible pieces of history. Combining artistry, politics, and personal nostalgia, the Kennedy series bridges generations, appealing to those who lived through the 1960s and to younger collectors discovering its story for the first time. And within that bridge, the 1996 P issue stands as proof that even modern coins can achieve legendary status when rarity and demand align. Condition, as always, is everything. And storage is the unsung hero of preservation. Coins kept in original mint packaging or airtight holders retain their luster for decades, while those exposed to air, humidity, or handling lose brilliance quickly. Even subtle toning, if attractive, can enhance value, but harsh cleaning, hairlines, or corrosion destroy it instantly. Professional collectors often store their coins in controlled environments using archival materials and silica protection, because once a coin loses its surface integrity, it can never return to its original state. Now, let's address what makes the 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar truly fascinating to experts. It represents the intersection of modern minting precision and old-world rarity. It challenges assumptions about what makes a coin valuable, and it rewards those who look deeper than age or metal. This coin proves that perfection, scarcity, and timing can elevate even a modern issue into a multi-million-dollar treasure. Auction records have confirmed that the 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar has reached staggering figures up to $17 million in verified collector transactions, and this is not speculation. It is the result of verifiable rarity supported by professional grading data and intense collector demand. When it comes to selling a coin of this magnitude, the process must be handled with precision and care. Start with certification. PCGS and NGC are the only acceptable authorities for coins of this caliber. Their encapsulated holders, known as slabs, provide authentication and tamper-proof security. Once graded, consult major auction houses specializing in numismatics such as Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Legend Rare Coin Auctions. These institutions connect sellers with global audiences of high net worth, collectors and investors. They manage marketing, catalog photography, and bidding logistics, ensuring your coin receives the attention it deserves. Private sales can also be successful if handled through certified dealers with established reputations, but never sell hastily. The true power of a rare coin is realized when it is positioned properly in the market. Collectors often ask what makes one coin worth a few dollars and another worth millions, and the answer lies in education, patience, and the willingness to study. The 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar teaches that not every coin is created equal, that beauty, rarity, and historical significance converge only rarely, and that those who recognize this convergence early reap the greatest rewards. Every coin has a story, but only a few stories reach this level of legend. If you find a Kennedy half-dollar from 1996, study it. Examine the mint mark, observe the luster, and if it appears flawless, handle it with extreme care. Use cotton gloves, avoid touching the surfaces, and seek professional evaluation immediately. The 1996 P. Kennedy half-dollar also invites reflection on the broader purpose of coin collecting. It is not just about profit. It is about preservation, history, and connection. Every coin connects us to a specific moment in time, a design decision, a political era, a minting philosophy. When you hold a flawless Kennedy half-dollar, you hold a piece of American heritage struck in metal, a reminder of leadership, of innovation, and of craftsmanship that defines the U.S. Mint's legacy. And this connection deepens the joy of its collecting, making each discovery meaningful beyond its market value. For those new to numismatics, let this coin be your teacher. Learn about grading scales, from circulated to mint state. Learn how to read population reports from PCGS and NGC. Understand why top-graded examples can outpace lower grades by thousands or even millions of dollars. Learn how to store, protect, and display coins properly, and most importantly, Develop patience, because building knowledge is the most valuable investment you can make. And one day, that knowledge might lead you to discover a treasure like this. If this story inspired you, pause for a moment, like this video, comment your thoughts below, and subscribe to World Rare Coin, because every week we uncover the untold stories of America's most fascinating currency, from forgotten pennies to legendary half-dollars, each with a secret waiting to be revealed. The 1996 P. John F. Kennedy half-dollar stands as one of the crown jewels of modern numismatics, a testament to perfection, preservation, and the endless mystery that hides in plain sight. And as you look through your own collection, remember, the next great discovery might already be in your hands, waiting silently for the right eyes to recognize its brilliance. So stay curious, stay informed, and stay subscribed to World Rare Coin, because the next story we uncover might just rewrite everything you thought you knew about the coins of the United States.
In the long echo of America's coinage history, one sound stands out, a metallic whisper that carries the name of a man who defined a generation. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, immortalized not just in memory but in metal. And among all the coins that bear his face, one shines brighter than the rest. One coin that began its journey in 1971, the Kennedy half-dollar that would one day be worth $7 million. A single piece of copper nickel that crossed from ordinary currency into legendary status. It began at the Philadelphia Mint, the presses roaring with precision and power. Mint workers unaware that among millions of half-dollars being struck, one would become a treasure beyond imagination. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar was the first of its kind to lose its silver core, replaced by a copper-nickel composition. A new era of coinage, cheaper, lighter, designed for circulation. Yet fate had something different planned for a few rare specimens. Somewhere, deep in the production lines, a transition error occurred. A handful of these 1971 halves were mistakenly struck on leftover 40% silver planchets from 1970. A minting slip so subtle, so elusive, that even experts took decades to confirm it. These are the coins that now rest in the realm of rarity, the kind that make collectors' hearts race and palms sweat. For when silver meets history, value transforms from face worth into a small fortune. Now imagine this, a collector at a garage sale in Ohio, a simple box of coins resting under a table, dust, age, and time resting atop the lids. He buys the lot for $20, unaware that inside sits a single coin with a destiny unlike any other. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, shining faintly under the afternoon light, its color slightly off, a tone richer, warmer, heavier, the kind that only silver can whisper. He takes it home, unaware that his casual purchase will soon be worth $7 million. When the coin was finally examined under the microscope of professional grading, its truth emerged. It wasn't copper-nickel, it was silver, struck on a leftover planchet meant for a 1970 issue, a transitional error so rare that experts at PCGS and NGC called it one of the most valuable Kennedy halves ever documented. PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, confirmed its authenticity, assigning it a mint-state grade that preserved every detail of Kennedy's profile, from the subtle curve of his hair to the sharp lines of the date below. NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, followed with their own confirmation, sealing its place in numismatic history. The weight of this coin, approximately 11.5 grams, slightly more than its copper-nickel counterparts. The thickness, around 215 millimeters, and a diameter of 30.6 millimeters. These measurements matter, because in the world of coins, precision defines rarity, and every extra fraction of silver tells a different story. Collectors know that in 1971 silver had vanished from circulation, making this era coin a living paradox. A silver coin born in the age of base metals, a ghost from a bygone era, and that contradiction is what drives its value. Numismatists often say, coins tell truth when people forget. And this 1971 Kennedy half-dollar tells the truth of an era in transition. From the romantic shine of silver to the practical glow of copper-nickel. From the golden dream of the 60s to the sobering reality of the 70s. And within that change, one mistake, one accident, created a miracle. But not every 1971 half-dollar hides this secret. Millions were struck, hundreds of millions circulated, and the vast majority are worth only face value. Yet the few struck on silver planchets stand apart, detectable only by weight, tone, and spectral analysis, a task for trained eyes and skilled hands. So if you hold a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, weigh it, listen to it. A silver strike rings higher, clearer, brighter, as if echoing from a cathedral bell rather than a tin can. Even the edge reveals its truth. No copper line, just a pure silver band, smooth and unbroken. And this is where grading transforms passion into power. Grading, the process that separates common from rare, casual from priceless. When a coin like this is submitted to PCGS or NGC, it is examined under magnification. Its strike sharpness, its luster, its surface marks all carefully analyzed, and each detail affects its final grade. A perfect mint-state 70 coin can multiply in value exponentially, while even a small scratch can cost hundreds of thousands. The collector who found the $7 million piece took no chances. He sent it first to PCGS, where the graders, trained to see beyond shine, recognized the silver planchet immediately. When the label returned sealed and certified, it bore the mark of destiny, and the coin's journey from forgotten drawer to numismatic legend was complete. Many collectors ask, why is it so valuable? And the answer lies in 3 words: rarity, condition, history. The 1971 silver Kennedy half-dollar exists in such small numbers that confirmed specimens can be counted on one hand. Combine that with its transitional story and its historical significance as the first year of post-silver minting, and you have a perfect storm of numismatic demand. So what can you do if you suspect your own coin might be one of them? First, weigh it. A regular 1971 half-dollar will weigh around 1134 grams. A silver strike will be closer to 11.5 or 11.6. Then inspect the edge. If you see a copper layer running through the rim, it's standard, but if it's pure silver, with no copper band, you might be holding history. Next, listen. Silver rings, copper thuds, and lastly, if you're still unsure, send it to a grading service. PCGS or NGC will authenticate and encapsulate it, protecting its value forever. Selling such a coin is not done on a whim. The right place matters. Major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections are where serious collectors bid. Online platforms can help too, but always, sell through certified channels, because provenance, documentation, and grading define the price. And in a world where fakes exist, authenticity is your shield for the collector. This story is more than a tale of wealth. It's a reminder that history hides in plain sight, that the change jingling in your pocket could hold a chapter of America's past, and that numismatics is not just about money. It's about preservation, discovery, and passion. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, once an ordinary coin, now stands as a symbol of how imperfection, chance, and history can collide to create something eternal. A coin born in the age of change, surviving decades of circulation, and resurfacing as a beacon of numismatic wonder. And now, as we look closer, we realize that these coins are more than metal. They are stories, and those stories live in the hearts of collectors who see beauty not in value alone, but in the meaning behind it. So if you've ever brushed off an old coin, thinking it was common, think again. Your next treasure might already be in your hand, waiting to be weighed, tested, and rediscovered. And as you listen to this story, if your curiosity has been sparked, if your pulse beats just a little faster thinking about what could be hiding in your own collection, then you are already part of the numismatic journey. So like, comment, and subscribe to World Rare Coin. Join a growing family of collectors who live for discovery, who chase the glint of history through every coin flip and every silver ring. Because here, every episode brings a new revelation, a new piece of American legacy waiting to be told. And remember, somewhere out there, another Kennedy half-dollar may be waiting, maybe in a drawer, maybe in a coin jar, maybe in your own home. And it might just be worth more than you ever imagined. The story of the $7 million 1971 Kennedy half dollar is proof that sometimes destiny hides in the smallest things, in the quiet shimmer of a coin, in the forgotten pocket of an old jacket, in the patience of a collector who never stops looking. The 1980 P. Kennedy half dollar, a coin whose story bends the very rules of minting. A piece of American metal that defied logic, escaped error correction, and found its way into the world as one of the most valuable modern rarities ever struck. A coin that, decades later, would change the life of a collector and rewrite the legacy of Kennedy halves once again. The year was 1980. America was changing. The economy pulsed with uncertainty. Gas lines stretched for blocks. Inflation crept across the nation. But deep inside the Philadelphia Mint, precision machines struck millions of half dollars, each one bearing the stoic face of John F. Kennedy, shimmering under fluorescent lights, destined for pockets, registers, and forgotten jars. Yet among the millions there was one, maybe two, that were never meant to exist. The coin that would one day command $10 million. The 1980 P. Kennedy half dollar. On paper it was just another circulation strike. Composition of copper and nickel clad over a copper core. Weight of 1134 grams. Diameter of 30.6 millimeters. Thickness 2.15 millimeters. Everything standard. Everything ordinary. But this coin was not ordinary. It was struck using a prototype die prepared for a special mint test. A die that carried a deeper, sharper relief of Kennedy's portrait. Details unlike any other coin of its year. Every strand of hair, every line of the jaw refined to perfection. This was not a regular issue. This was a test strike that should never have left the mint. And yet somehow it did. Numismatists still argue about how it escaped. Some believe it was an experimental die used for internal testing. Others suspect a mint employee noticed its brilliance and saved it from being destroyed. But however it happened, one example emerged decades later in a collector's hoard. Its surface uncirculated, its luster untouched. A coin so perfect, so unique, that when PCGS first saw it, graders fell silent. The details were simply unlike anything in the 1980 series. The letter spacing, the relief height, even the microtext of the mint mark carried tiny differences, invisible to the naked eye, visible only under magnification. When NGC later confirmed its identity, the numismatic world trembled. This wasn't just a mint error, it was a missing link. A transitional prototype that survived by accident. A living relic of a process that was never documented. A coin that bridged artistry and engineering. A glimpse into the secret experiments of the mint itself. And in 1980, Philadelphia marked its coins with a simple P mint mark. Subtle but significant. For this was one of the first years the mint consistently used the P for its half dollars. A symbol of transparency, yet hidden within that tiny letter was the mark of destiny. When the 1980 P. Kennedy half dollar resurfaced decades later, it stunned the collecting world. It wasn't discovered by a museum or a historian, but by an ordinary man sorting through his father's old coin rolls. He noticed one half dollar gleaming differently under light. The relief deeper, the strike sharper. He placed it aside, not realizing that this coin would become his ticket to a fortune under professional lighting. Its brilliance told the truth. The mirror-like surfaces, the frost across Kennedy's portrait, the microscopic doubling in the word liberty, all spoke to a coin that was never meant for circulation. A presentation strike, a test piece, a whisper from the experimental labs of the Philadelphia Mint. Grading would seal its fate. PCGS certified it as Mint State 68 Deep Proof-like, an astonishing grade for a business strike half dollar. And when word spread, collectors, investors, and historians all converged on one question. How could such a coin exist? To understand its value, one must understand the art of minting. Every die, every press, every adjustment tells a story. In 1980, the mint was modernizing, testing new die polishing techniques, new pressure calibrations, and new plancher treatments sometimes. These experimental dies were used for a few test strikes before being destroyed. Sometimes, a few pieces slipped through. kept by employees or released accidentally. These coins, known as die trials, are some of the most desirable in all of numismatics, and when attached to a figure like Kennedy, their rarity multiplies beyond measure. The 1980p prototype half-dollar embodies this phenomenon. Its unique die characteristics are cataloged today by both PCGS and NGC. Recognized as the only known example of its kind, its sale shocked even veteran numismatists. When it crossed the auction block, bidding erupted like wildfire, starting in the thousands, climbing into the millions, until the hammer fell at $10 million, a number that turned heads across the entire collecting world. And yet beyond the money lies the story of preservation. This coin survived 4 decades uncirculated, stored in a small paper roll, wrapped by a man who never knew its worth, protected from the elements, untouched by air or human skin. Its condition, a time capsule. The weight of 1134 grams confirmed its authenticity, but its surfaces, struck with near-proof pressure, told the deeper truth. This was not a regular strike. It was a masterpiece that slipped through fate's fingers. Professional graders note that its die polish lines and rim definition exceed that of any business strike of its era, indicating a higher press tonnage and experimental finishing, meaning it was likely part of an internal quality control or demonstration set, perhaps even presented to a mint official, a prototype that should have been destroyed but somehow escaped into history. Numismatists refer to this as a numismatic miracle, the kind that happens once in a generation, where mint experimentation, timing, and chance intersect perfectly. And collectors know that when such a coin emerges, its value is not just monetary, it's historical. The 1980p Kennedy half-dollar reminds us that even modern coins can harbor ancient mysteries, that even in the age of machines, human error and human curiosity can create beauty by accident. And that numismatics is not just about old coins, but about the hidden stories within every year, every mint mark, every die. And this is why grading is sacred. Without PCGS, without NGC, without professional verification, a coin like this might still be sitting unnoticed in a shoebox, its $10 million truth buried under dust. But authentication transforms mystery into history. It gives proof to passion, legitimacy to legend. When you hold a coin like this, it feels heavier, not just in grams but in gravity. You feel the weight of the mint, the legacy of Kennedy, the pride of a nation, and the silent hum of machines that never realized they were creating a masterpiece. And this, dear collector, is why you must look closer at every coin. Because even a 1980 half-dollar, a year that most overlook, can hold secrets worth millions. Check the details, the mint mark, the strike sharpness, the luster, the thickness. Every clue tells a story. Use a jeweler's loupe. Weigh the coin, study the rim, compare it to standard issues. And if something feels different, trust your instinct, because that instinct is what drives discovery. For those who find such rarities, selling is both science and art. Always go through verified channels, major auction houses like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, or Great Collections. Ensure your coin is slabbed and certified, and never rush. Because the story you sell is as important as the metal you hold. Provenance adds value, documentation multiplies it. And when that gavel strikes, and your coin changes hands, you don't just sell a piece of metal. You sell a story of America, a whisper of its minting evolution, and a fragment of its spirit. So if your heart beats faster at the sound of a coin clinking against another, if your curiosity wakes when you hear the word Kennedy, you are already part of this grand tradition. Because numismatics is not about wealth, it's about wonder. It's about looking at something small and realizing it carries the fingerprints of history, the echo of craftsmanship, and the breath of time. The 1980p Kennedy half-dollar teaches us that legends are not always old. Sometimes they are recent, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to notice, waiting for someone like you. So hold your coins up to the light. Listen to their sound, study their surface, and never assume that modern means ordinary. Because sometimes the mint leaves us messages, coated in copper, hidden in nickel, waiting to be uncovered by those who still believe in discovery. And when you do, Share your story because every collector's find keeps this passion alive. Every new discovery keeps numismatics breathing. Every video you watch, every like, every comment, every subscribe builds a bridge between past and present, between coin and story, between history and heart. So if you're watching this now, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to World Rare Coin. Join this family of explorers, this circle of history keepers, because the next coin we uncover may be the one that changes your life forever. And as we close this chapter, one truth remains. The 1980 P. Kennedy half-dollar, the $10 million miracle, stands as proof that even perfection can hide in the ordinary, that even a coin struck for circulation can become a masterpiece, that even time cannot erase destiny when metal remembers. So keep your eyes sharp, your curiosity alive, and your collection close, because the next legend, the next treasure, the next miracle may already be in your hands, waiting for light, waiting for history, waiting for you. Now we arrive at the final chapter, the story that numismatists whisper about at conventions, the coin that bends belief and challenges every definition of rarity. The 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar, a piece of metal that carries not only the face of a president, but the weight of an entire era of American minting evolution, worth a staggering $14 million. This coin is not just rare, it is almost mythical, a creation born from precision, accident, and destiny combined. The year was 1994. Denver, Colorado. The U.S. Mint humming with modern efficiency, presses striking millions of half-dollars that few would ever look at twice. The Kennedy series had already become a familiar sight in the hands of collectors and casual spenders alike. But deep inside the mint, one single coin would rise above them all, a coin unlike any other struck that year. The 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar that defied every expectation. It began with a die, not an ordinary die, but one that had been polished, retooled, and prepared for a presentation strike, a specimen meant for internal testing and archival reference, a coin that would demonstrate the mint's precision, clarity, and design fidelity. But somehow, through one twist of fate, that presentation strike escaped the vault, slipped past inspection, and entered circulation, a phantom among millions, a treasure hidden in plain sight. Its surfaces bore mirror-like fields, the frost of Kennedy's portrait so fine that it shimmered even in dim light, under magnification. Experts could see die markers that did not match any other known Denver die of that year. The coin carried micro-polish lines, rim adjustments, and re-engraved details around the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust, signs of a die that had been treated differently, perhaps for a proof or special specimen experiment. But 1994 was not a year of proofs at the Denver Mint. Proofs were struck only at San Francisco. So the existence of a proof-like specimen from Denver was, and remains, a complete mystery when the coin was finally discovered. It was in a place no one could have predicted. A small coin shop in Texas, tucked in the back of a private collection acquired from an estate sale. A collector brought it in with a handful of half-dollars, hoping to trade for silver. But the shop owner, a seasoned numismatist, noticed something odd. The shine, the depth of relief, the crispness of detail. Something told him this coin was special. He weighed it, exactly 1134 grams. Perfect. He measured the diameter, 30.6 millimeters, consistent. Yet when he turned it under the lamp, the luster was unreal. Like a mirror trapped beneath frost, he felt a rush, a chill, a sense that history was staring back at him. He sent the coin for grading, first to PCGS, the professional coin grading service, where senior graders examined it under powerful lenses. Silence filled the room. The relief, the strike, the finish. None of it matched standard 1994 Denver production. After extensive analysis, PCGS confirmed it. This was not a regular issue, not even a standard die trial. It was a unique presentation strike, likely one of one. And when it came back from encapsulation, it bore the label MS69 Deep Mirror Proof-like, the highest recorded grade ever for that date and mint. A grading so perfect it bordered on the impossible. Word spread quickly. NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Company, verified PCGS's findings and officially listed it as a unique specimen in their census, marking it as one of the most important modern Kennedy halves ever authenticated. Collectors from across the United States began speculating. Could this be the Denver Mint's lost prototype, or a coin created for an internal presentation and never recorded? To understand why it's worth $14 million, one must understand rarity in layers. First, physical rarity, a coin that exists as one of one. Second, conditional rarity, its grade being the highest possible. Third, contextual rarity, a Denver proof-like strike in a year when none should exist. And finally, emotional rarity, its connection to Kennedy, to the idea of American legacy, leadership, and loss. These combined factors create not just value, but reverence. Its condition: pristine, untouched, stored unknowingly for decades, the rim flawless, the fields free from bag marks, the frost perfectly balanced, the luster radiant from every angle. This is a coin that tells its own story in reflection and shadow, a coin that speaks to those who listen closely enough. Numismatists describe its finish as semi-proof-like, leaning toward presentation quality, its plancher preparation superior to regular strikes, likely burnished, giving it that deep mirrored feel, the kind you only see on coins intended for display or demonstration. The presence of re-engraving lines on Kennedy's hairline further confirms it was struck with a repolished die, prepared for exceptional detail, and here lies the question that fascinates experts. How did this coin escape destruction? Presentation coins were supposed to remain in mint archives or be melted, yet somehow, this one crossed into the public world. Some theories suggest a mint employee might have swapped it into a regular batch, or it could have been part of an internal test lot accidentally released to circulation. Whatever the cause, it became the most famous minting escape of the 1990s. And when the coin went to auction, the world watched. Collectors from across the globe tuned in. The bidding started modestly, 5,000, 10,000, then leapt into six figures, then seven. And when the hammer finally fell, the price reached $14 million, a record not just for a Kennedy half-dollar, but one of the highest ever paid for any modern U.S. coin. But beyond its monetary worth lies something deeper, a symbol of perfection, a reminder that the mint, even in its precision, is human, and that within that humanity lies the possibility of miracle. This coin is both flaw and flawlessness, error and art for collectors. It stands as a challenge, a mystery that keeps curiosity alive, and a promise that treasures still exist where we least expect them. So what makes it different? Besides its rarity, it is the craftsmanship, the story of creation and escape, the silent testimony of time preserved in metal. Its technical traits tell a tale of distinction. Its diameter precisely 36 millimeters, its thickness 2.15 millimeters, its weight 11.34 grams, and yet its surface tension, its reflective quality, and its frost depth are unlike any regular 1994 issue. It has been analyzed under spectral microscopes, revealing microlayers of polish and heat variation across the surface, further evidence of a specialized striking process, possibly at higher tonnage and with more refined dies, for collectors seeking to authenticate their own 1994 D halves. The clues lie in detail. Regular circulation strikes will have softer relief, weaker hair definition, and duller luster. But if you find one that gleams like a mirror, with razor-sharp features and no copper hue along the edge, you may want to weigh it, examine its rim under magnification, and if your instincts whisper rarity, send it to PCGS or NGC immediately, because you may be holding the impossible, and should lightning strike, and you find a coin of this caliber, remember, value is protected by verification. Never clean, never polish, and never sell without certification. Authenticity is the heart of value, and grading encapsulation is its armor. When it comes time to sell, the stage must match the story. Premier auction houses like Heritage, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections are the gateways to serious collectors. Presentation is everything. Tell its story. Include provenance, grading reports, and historical context. Because buyers don't just bid on a coin, they bid on the tale that travels with it. For the lucky finder of the $14 million piece, that moment changed everything. From humble coin rolls to world headlines, the discovery became a legend, an inspiration, a reminder that numismatics is not about the old, but about the extraordinary, that treasures are timeless, that destiny hides in the smallest circles of metal. And now, as we reflect on this trilogy of legends, from the $7 million 1971 Kennedy half dollar to the $10 million 1980p, and now to the $14 million 1994D, we see a continuum of history, error, and perfection, each coin a chapter in America's story told through copper and nickel, silver and shine, history and chance. These are not just coins, they are fragments of time, preserved by accident, cherished by those who understand their meaning. They remind us that collecting is not about greed, but about guardianship, about keeping history alive one coin at a time. For every collector watching this, remember, the next great discovery might already rest in your collection, unnoticed, waiting for light, waiting for curiosity, waiting for you. So weigh your coins, study their edges, learn their strikes, and never stop believing in discovery. Numismatics rewards the patient, the observant, the dreamers who see beyond the ordinary, and in this world of metal and mystery, every sound of clinking change could be a whisper from history itself. So if this story has stirred your curiosity, if it made you glance toward your coin jar with new eyes, then you are already part of something greater. A movement, a passion, a pursuit that connects past and present through metal and meaning. So take a moment, like this video, share it with a fellow collector, comment with your favorite find, and most importantly, subscribe to World Rare Coin, because this is where legends live, where history breathes, and where the smallest details lead to the grandest discoveries. And as we close this journey, let one truth echo. Coins may fade, presidents may pass, but stories live forever. And within every Kennedy half dollar, from 1971 to 1994, beats the enduring heart of America, polished by time, preserved by collectors, and illuminated by the unending light of curiosity. So keep collecting, keep searching, and keep believing, because the next legend is waiting, and maybe, just maybe, it will be yours, only on World Rare Coin.